Right, so started. Cool. So I hope you guys can see me. Right now, what we're going to do, we can go to Bootstrap, but before going to Bootstrap, I want to do some more hands-on with the CSS stuff. I want to make you feel comfortable with this URLs and everything. And well, let's get started. I just had my lunch, so I took a small break. Obviously, I'm at my home, so I don't have to look for a hotel or restaurant, or I don't have to depend upon my cook to cook me food, because here, being at home, one good thing is that your mom can cook food for you, and you can have your you can have food, you can have homely food, right? That's the only thing that I miss whenever I'm apart from my home. So anyhow, let's go ahead. Right now, we have done pretty much a progress, isn't it? We have done a good progress so far. The next thing that we'll be learning, maybe we will do some more hands-on with the CSS stuff, and I want to make you a little more familiar with using CSS. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's start our afternoon session, because I don't have any other client call right now. At least for the next 2-3 hours I'm free. So let's see. If I will have any call, then I will just run away from in between. But anyhow, I think I'm free. I can continue. It's 2:25 p.m. Maybe till 4 I can do the shoot. Okay. Yeah. So hopefully this afternoon will be good, so that I can share some more knowledge with you guys. Okay. I have a very little amount of knowledge, and I'm sharing that with you. It's nothing like, I'm sharing my knowledge. We will be bringing in Bootstrap so soon. But right now, let's go for the CSS stuff, and let's do some little more hands-on. All right. So what about, where is my web page? Okay, my web page is here. Let me close all this unnecessary thing. Okay. So I'll be able to, I am able to lower this image. Okay, it looks good. So what about, I want to give a background image, or I want to use this image as a background image. I think I have created, I have downloaded basically another image, this one. I can use it as a background image. Let me tell you how to do that as well. So the first thing is very simple. Copy that, go back to your Eclipse. Right here inside the images, let me create, let me do a copy paste, so that this image I can load it. Okay. So where I will be using this background image. So let me go to, maybe I can go to the art student page. Okay. Here, first of all, I have to load this image, background image, just right here, and I have to use it in the background. So first of all, let me load this particular page. If I'll go to the student controller, so student page, let me copy that. Let me go back to Chrome. Maybe I can hit one more, Command V. Let me go here. Let me copy everything. Command C. Go to the next tab. Command V. And obviously I will be deleting this much. Okay, enter. So here, let me use it as a background image. Okay, let's see how it looks like. Cool. So to use the image as a background image, obviously I want the image to be here in the body of this HTML or JSP. So let me go back to my Eclipse. So what I'm going to do here, I will go to artstudent.jsp, because here I want to use the background image. Obviously, I'll be putting everything inside the body. So here in the body, can I write background? Can I write style? Background image. And here I think I have to provide the URL of the image. Okay. What is going to be the URL of this image? If I will go to here, the first I have to reach till the resources till here. So for that, I have already have this thing just right here. Copy that. Go to your another file that you have, Command V. And once you reach resources, you have to look inside the images folder. So let me go ahead and write images here. Okay, and after that, I'll be looking for background.jpg. Command S. Let me see whether it is loading or not. Once it loads, then I will be moving this particular thing to a different CSS file maybe. Okay, so I'll be going to my Google Chrome, I'll do a refresh, and there you go. I have a background images right here, which looks pretty good. So let me use it as a background image, and it's working good. But right now I don't want to hardcode my background image just like this. Rather, what I'm gonna do, I'll be copying this image. Copy this. Let me cut it. And I will be removing the styling stuff from here, and basically I can put everything inside a CSS file. Maybe I'll be put it inside here, but let me create another CSS file just to make you feel comfortable with the CSS stuff. Let me make it let's say add a student.css or something right here. Let me for body, let me say for body, I want to use a background image. So for body of this, I'll be using a background image, and the URL for this is going to be this. And let me do Command S, and right now this file rstudent.css is here. If I will go back to my browser, if I'll do a refresh, obviously the background image is gone because we are not loading that CSS. So we have to make sure that the rstudent.css, this one we should be loading it right here in our rstudent.jsp. So I have to be here first of all. This body, with this body, I'll be giving a background image. That's what I have mentioned just right here. And I will be doing what right here inside the head. Basically inside head and head, I have to go for a link, and again I have to go for a rel, and this should be a style sheet. And obviously I have to define the type. The type is going to be text/CSS, and obviously the href, the URL is going to be what to load this particular CSS file. Can you guys guide me? Okay, sorry, this CSS file we have to load. So what is our page context? Our page context is, let me go there, go to properties, grab the page context, copy the page context, do apply and close, come back to your JSP file right here. This is going to be the page context, and after that you have to reach here, because inside the resources we have the CSS file called rstudent.css. So to reach till resources, I have to go back to the configuration file, and maybe this is the URL to reach the resources folder. Let me copy that. You can see I can reach the resources folder because it's mapped with this. Now I can close it. I can go back to here. I can do Command V. So this is my URL to reach the resources folder. Let me go to add student.css, Command S, and right now it looks good. And this rstudent.css is inside the CSS folder. Now it looks good. So inside here, inside the resources, we have a CSS folder, and we have this CSS file just right here, isn't it? Looks good. Right now let me go back and do a refresh here. Okay, so background.jpg, why it is looking for that? Okay, this is getting loaded, but I cannot see the effect right here. So it looks good. Let me go back to there. Let me go back to our student.css. Well, where's this? I don't need to have this, right? And now let me go there and let me do a refresh here. Yeah, boom. Right now I can able to see this. And obviously if I will go to more tools, developer tools, and if I'll go to the network, if I'm going to hit this particular page, you will be seeing why it is couple of files. There should be 3 files, isn't it? That one is the main page, one is the background.jpg, and this file is loaded by my CSS. So where is that? Why it is not showing me that? Command C. Open it with a different browser, enter it. Maybe I will open the developer tool here as well. Enter it again, and there you go. These are the 3 files which are getting loaded. One is your JSP. With your JSP, obviously you are linking this style sheet. So we are it is looking for the style sheet also. And here in the style sheet, you are loading this background image. So if you are going to click here, you will be seeing the background images right here. And if you hover over here, this is the URL. You can see localhost 8080. Then inside the student management, it is looking for the URL to reach resource folder. Then it is going to look for the images, and inside that it is looking for a background.jpg. Okay, so this looks good and we are all set right now. So right now you know how to use a image as a background image for a particular JSP file. All right, so we are all set right now. We have this nice little home page. If we do refresh, we have this home page, and if we click on add, we have this page as well. So everything is working fine. And before I wrap up this particular section, one more thing I want to say. Okay, let me go back to my Eclipse. Guys, I want to give you one task to you guys. Okay, let's say to load the image right now, we are writing this URL to reach resources folder. So we are reaching here, and after that we are going to the images section, which is this one, and inside this we are looking for background.jpg just right here. Can you create another URL which is going to point to the path till image? Okay, so we have the images right here. Can we create a link which is going to point to this particular folder? Okay, so we don't have to say URL to reach resources folder / images. We can directly say URL to reach image folder / background.jpg, because we'll be directly reaching here. Okay, can we create a URL just like this? And of course, yes, I'm going to tell you how to do that. Let me go to the config file. Let me go to the configuration file just right here. And here we may create one more registry. So we can say registry.add a resource handler. And obviously we'll be giving the pattern just right here. And once we give the pattern, basically this is going to be our URL. It is going to be my URL to reach images folder. Images folder. These are very funny name, guys. I'm just making it for learning purpose. You can make the URL sounds good. You can make it more readable, but this is just for understanding purpose. I'm giving the URL name just like this. So this is going to be my URL. Okay, and the location for this URL, which is going to point to, then I can add the location to this, and the location is going to be /resources, okay, and /images, okay, so /. So right now this is going to point to the images folder. Okay, so right now I can simply say this is going to be a URL pointing to the images folder. So I can copy the same URL right now, and where I have that style sheet right here, and right here, instead of saying URL to resources folder /images, I can directly say what? Let me remove all this thing. Let me do Command V. I can directly say this. Okay, and you can see that I have removed that images right now. So right now this URL is going to point to the images folder. Till images it is going to point. It is going to point resources /images, and inside this folder we can look for the background.jpg. So right now this particular URL is pointing till this. Okay, hopefully it makes sense. So right now let me do Command S. Let me see whether it is working or not. Let me save everything. I think everything, every files are saved. Let me go back to my Google Chrome, and right now let me do a refresh, and you can see it is loading fine. Okay, so now can you go to the other file that we have? Before this file we have this home page, right? Can you change the URL for this? So this URL, if you're going to see right now, where we have this particular page /host student, it is basically this particular page, student list, and right here for the images we are saying URL to the resources folder /images. I can replace this much of thing with the URL to images folder. Okay, this is the direct URL which is going to be pointing to here. Okay, and right here, from here I can lower this student.png. So that's what I'm doing just right here. Hopefully this is making sense. Do a command S and let me test this out. And I can go back to my Google Chrome. Let me do a refresh here and you can see that it is working fine. And if I am going to copy the image URL right now, copy image address, if I copy that and if I'm going to paste it somewhere for references purpose, I'll do what? Okay, that's fine. Hey, where was the other file that I was writing my code here? I was planning something, right? When I was planning, I was writing in a text file. Where is that file? I have deleted or something. I don't remember. Oh, anyhow, that's fine. So this is the URL right now. You can see this is the URL for that particular image. For this image, I did copy image address and you can see the new address right now. /student management URL to reads image folder, and inside that I am looking for the student.png. Basically I've shortened my URL pattern just right here, and hopefully it makes sense right now how to basically play with the URL and how to basically deal with the stuffs like this, and how you can add the static resources in your configuration file by using this. Okay, all right, so that's it. Okay, I'll be giving you some more information in the next clip. Alright guys, so before I go to Bootstrap and before I make my application look a little more, beautiful, right now where is my application? Before I make this a little more beautiful, maybe this tables, this text, this fonts, maybe the font family, maybe the email styling, before I make it more beautiful, I want to tell you about the CSS classes and why do we need that, and what are the CSS classes and how we're going to use it, how we're going to create the CSS classes so that we can understand Bootstrap, pretty much more, because Bootstrap is basically a collection of CSS classes. So Bootstrap is a collection of CSS classes. So before I say that, I should be telling you that what do you mean by CSS classes? Okay. Otherwise it will be just like Bootstrap is a collection of CSS classes. What is CSS classes? Now CSS classes are used by Bootstrap. What is RAM? RAM means random access memory. What do you mean by random access memory? Random access memory means RAM. Don't give this kind of answer, right? Okay, so let me first make you what are CSS classes so that we can understand Bootstrap. Okay, that's the intention of this particular tutorial. So right now, first of all, let me go back to my, let me first of all close this. Let me go back to my Eclipse here. If I'll be going back to my Eclipse, right here, okay, right here I have couple of CSS file. Okay, in one CSS file, basically I'm trying to change the header color as red, and also let's say that if I want to change all the text of this particular table, or if I want to change this text to a little more bigger, if I want to change the font of this particular text or font family, then how I'm going to do it. Similarly, obviously these things are there in a table, and this table is inside my HTML body. So if I'm going to go to student list.jsp, you can see I'm putting everything inside the body, right? Body and body here. So every text that I have just right here is a part of this body. So let me change the body text font basically, and let me basically make the font a little more bigger. Okay, first of all guys, let me close all this controller, service, DAO. I really don't want that. Yeah, so now obviously the config file also I don't want. Okay, let's say if I will be going to my stylesheet.css here, let's say if I want to change the body color, not the body color, I want to change the body font size. Okay, I'll say font size and font family. The font size, let me change the font size maybe to 30px. okay, and let me do Command S. Let me go back there, let me do a refresh, and you can see the font size of the body of this thing got changed. Maybe I can make it a little less. Maybe I will say 20px. Command S, do a refresh, and there you go, right? So these are right now with 20px of font size, which is perfect. And also if I want, I can change the font family. I can say font family, and I can change the font family to something else. Maybe let me choose this, and let me do a refresh, and you'll be seeing the font family is changed. Maybe it is not that visible. Maybe let me use a different font family. Let me use, I think if I'm typing it good, it should be working. This is one of the font family name. Yeah, now the font also changed. Right now it's pretty visible, isn't it? So let's say right now I have changed the font family just right here for the entire body, isn't it? So okay, so now that's good. We are happy with our work. I have changed the font size and the font family, and I have changed the font size and the font family for the entire body. Okay, so now let's say I have a different requirement. Okay, the requirement here is, if I'll go to the other URL that I have, which was show student page, right here you can see I have a heading, and this heading I want to change it to red color. Okay, or something, I want to change it to red. If you see here in the back, if I'll go back, this heading is obviously red, and right here this particular heading is not red. Even if it is a h1 tag, it is not red yet. So to change it to red, what I should do, I should apply some CSS. What kind of CSS? Obviously I have to change it to change the text to red. Okay, and if I want to do that, I don't have to do anything, because I already have a tag here for h1, and this particular stuff is going to change my h1 header to color red. And if I want to do that, this particular stuff is present inside. If I'll do link to editor, it is here inside my style sheet. So I have to basically go to this particular page, and right here if I'll go to more tools and developer tools, right here, whenever this page will be loaded, during the time of page load, I want to include that CSS file as well. Okay, so to include that CSS file, what I'm going to do here, basically I am going to go to my student list. Let me copy this mystylesheet.css link, copy that, go back to the JSP file, artstudent.jsp. Right here you have already added one CSS. This is for a different purpose. This is for changing the background. We have added this one because we wanted to change the background. Okay, we wanted to have a background image, and this file I'm adding right here because I want to change this particular text to red. Okay, so I have a couple of CSS file I'm loading here. I'll do Command S right now. I'll go back here. If I'll do refresh, well, it worked, right? You can see the mystylesheet.css is right now loading, and obviously if I'll go to the header, is success. The file is able to load here. This is pretty fine. But one thing I want to say, the h1 tag, this worked obviously because we have added the file, but notice here the body text is also got changed to the font of this. The font and the font size got changed as well. So let's say I really don't want to do that. Okay, I only want to change this header color to red, but I don't want to change the body text. So what you will do? Because right now the problem here is that inside this particular file called mystylesheet.css, if you'll go to mystylesheet.css, here you have written the code to change the header to red. Also you have written the code to change the body font and the body font family as well. But right now, whenever I am linking this particular file, which is mystylesheet.css, right there in my artstudent.jsp, my only intention here is that I want to change the color of this particular h1 tag. So this thing is working pretty fine. If I'll do refresh, the color of the h1 tag is right now changed to red. But right now it is also changing my body text and body color. And why it is changing that? That's because we have retained that instruction right here inside this particular style sheet. Inside here, we have written this. Right now, as long as you are writing this body, right now you are saying that, okay, whenever somebody is attaching this particular file, change the body property as well. Okay, but let's say that is not my requirement. My requirement only to change the header. Okay, and I cannot basically remove the body from here. If I remove the body, Command X, Command S, go here, do a refresh. Right now this is changed to red. Perfect. Now the body text is also reverted back to whatever it was previously. But the problem, if we'll go back here, if we'll do a refresh, see here also the body text got changed. Okay, for source student also the body text got changed. Okay, the body font is also getting changed. The body font size is also getting changed. And I really don't want to happen that. My requirement is right here, I should be able to change the body text. Okay, my body font and the body font size should be changed here. But right here, it should not be changed. So how we are going to achieve that? Okay, you are understanding the requirement. Now if I'll do command G, Command S, right now again if I'll do refresh, you'll be seeing the body text got changed right here and also right here as well. Right now the body text got changed just right here as well. But my requirement here is the body font should be changed only here. Okay, but not here. Okay, and the header should be changed here. Okay, the header should be changed just right here. The header color should be red right here and right here as well. Okay, but right here the body font should be changed to this, but here the body font should not be changed. But if I'm writing this, then obviously it is changing my body font and font family and font size obviously everywhere. Wherever I'll be linking this one, I am linking this one just right here. So obviously the property of the body will be changed. I am linking it right here as well, my stylesheet.css inside this particular student list.jsp. Here also I am linking it. So for the body, the property will be changed. Even though I don't want it, it will change the property. Okay, because that's what I'm trying to instructing right here. If I'll go to here, that's what I'm trying to instructing. Whoever going to implement you, whoever is going to link you, change the font size and the font family. Okay. So how to get rid of from this particular situation? I want to get rid of this. Wherever I want, my body text should be changed. As per my wish, it should happen. Okay. Don't change the body text. Don't change the body font size and the font family without asking me. Okay. Don't change the body text, font size and font family property without asking me. Okay, so how to achieve that? And for that we'll be needing the CSS class so that we can control this particular thing. Okay, I'll tell you how. Alright, so let me introduce to you the CSS classes so that we can take the control over. We can control which particular HTML element we want to change, which particular HTML we don't want to change. How can we basically take the control, of applying CSS to a particular HTML property? I'm going to talk about that in this particular tutorial. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do, I will go back to my Eclipse. And right here, what I'm going to do, instead of saying body, I won't be writing body here. I'll be writing here my fonts, and my fonts will be start with a dot. Okay. So why I have started with a dot and why I've written my fonts? You can basically write anything just right here, but I'm writing my fonts here because this is my own class. This is called a CSS class. Why I'm telling it a CSS class? Because it started with a dot. Okay, so if anything starts with a dot, that's called a class. This is called a class in CSS. And what is the use of this particular class right now? I'll be telling you. Right now, if I'll do Command S, okay, right now, if I'll go back to here, if I'll do refresh, you can see the body is right now, the body text, the body font and the font family is right now reverted back to usual, and obviously the header is red. And obviously if I'll go to the other page that I have, our student page, here also the header is red, but the body color reverted back to the default. Okay, why the header is red here and here? Because for the header I'm just directly saying h1. Okay, so wherever I have a h1 tag, and if this particular file is linked to that particular HTML file or a JSP file, then the header will be changed to red. So you can see our student.jsp is having my style sheet, and also student list.jsp is having my style sheet. So obviously the headers, basically the h1 is changed to red because we are saying that, hey, change everything to red. But right now let's come back to our requirements. We want for this particular page the body font size and the font family should change, but for this particular page, for this, the font should not change. Okay, for the body of this, the text should be remain consistent, but right there the font I want to change. So that's why I can go back to my Eclipse. Here I have created my own CSS class having these CSS properties, font size and font family. Okay, specified to this and this. Okay, whatever. So now I can copy this. Okay, let's say here I want to change, in this particular phase I want to change my body color, sorry, not the body color, the body font size to a little more bigger, and I also want to change this text to something else. I also want to change the font of this particular text, the style of the font, I want to change it to something different. Okay, so to do that I will be doing what? Here I'll be writing class. Okay, class is a CSS property, and right here for this class I'll be writing my class name just right here. Make sure that remove this dot from here. Okay, so this is your class name. This does mean that here we are loading our CSS inside this particular CSS. If we'll go to this CSS, if I'll do Command Shift R, if I'll go to this, then here I have written this particular class. Okay, so right now the body of student list, body of this is going to be changed to this particular whatever we have written inside this, whatever we have written inside this is going to be applied to the body. Okay, perfect. So right now one more thing, if I don't want the art student, here also we have body, right? With the body starts here and the body ends here, but I don't want this text, name, mobile, country, this to change it to whatever I have defined here. Okay, so no problem, I will not define any class for this body. I won't be writing the class here for this body, so that's okay. I won't be writing, so the font of this will not be getting changed. So here we are just defining the class. Right now you can see in this file called rstudent.jsp, we also have this mystylesheet.css. But why we have added the mystylesheet.css? That's because inside this I have the h1 tag defined, and to change the h1 tag, to change the h1 header color to red. Okay, so that is happening fine. And also apart from the h1, I also have the body, but for this I have written a class, but this class will be only be applied to here, to this body. The property that I have defined just right there, the property that I have written here is only going to be applied whenever I'll be writing the class here, but I'll not be writing the class. Okay, so for student list I have the body, the class is this. For this, the class is not defined here. Let me do Command S, let me go there, let me do a refresh. You can see the body font size is changed for everything. But if we'll go to the other page, if I do a refresh, the fonts are not changing. That's because I have not applied that particular class that I have created for this particular HTML page. If I want to do that, I can go back to my Eclipse. I can create a class here, and whatever the class that I have created, I can copy the name of this, and I can go there and I can do a paste, Command S. Let me go back to there. Let me refresh the page, and you can see the body font size and the text, and obviously the, what do we say, that the font family of the body is right now changed to something. Okay, that's why we use the CSS to control where to apply the changes, where not to apply the changes. Let's say I really don't want this body text to be changed, and I'm happy with the default one, then I won't be changing it. So I'll do a refresh. So obviously it won't be making any impact, even though this particular file is having link to this particular CSS. Inside this CSS, we have made this a class, and the class properties will be only be applied whenever we will be calling that inside the body right here. Okay, Command S. Right now if I'll go there, do a refresh, it's changed. Hopefully it's making sense why to create the CSS class. This is just to getting a little more specific, and we wanted to take control which property to change and which is the particular HTML tag that I want to style. Okay, well, there you go. Alright, so right now let's go ahead and let's create another CSS class. Maybe let's say, let me first get a requirement for you and for myself as well. So I'll be going here. I'll be going to this particular page, and right here I have a button, right? And also in the previous page I have a button. Let's say I want this button to be a little bit bigger, and obviously let's say I want to change the text of this particular button to blue or something, or maybe the color of the button I want to change it to black or blue or green. Then how I'm going to do that? Okay, I want to style this particular button. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so I have to style this particular button. So let me go ahead and do that. So I will be going to my style sheet. Let me put it just right here. Let me create one more class. Let me say dot my button. All right, and here I'm going to style this. So right here I'll be writing some properties. First of all, let me change the color of this particular color. Is going to change the text color. Maybe let me say blue. Okay, let me see what is happening just right here. Refresh, nothing will happen because this is a class, so we have to apply this class. So let me copy the class name. This is my button. Maybe I'll go to student list. Okay, inside here obviously this style sheet is linked, so I'll go to the button. Which button I want to change? Let me go to the art button. Where is the art button? Here is the art button, right? Type equal to submit. Maybe I'll just give a CSS property to this. So I'll say to this, the class is going to be this. Okay, so right now if I'll go there and if I do refresh, see right now the text of the button is right now changed to blue. Okay, that's because right now I'm saying the class is my button, and my button I'm defining right here. What about if I'll be saying it red? Command S, go back, do a refresh. Right now it is changed to red. Make sure that we have some other buttons. Here we have a different button, but the text of this particular button right now not getting changed because this particular class is only applied to this button. Okay, right here I've shown you right here. I'm just applying the class to this submit button, and obviously the value of that is art. So this is the art button that we have. Okay, so now let me make it maybe white. Oh, sorry, not here. Now let me go back to my style sheet. I'll make the button to white. Command S, go there, refresh the page. Right now it's changed to white. The background I want to change it to blue, let's say. So I'll say background color, let's say I want to change it to green. Command S, let me do refresh. Okay, it's a green button right now, and let's say I want to give a yellow border for this particular button. So I can say border, and I'll say 2 pixel border, and I will make it solid. And obviously the color I am going to make it let's say yellow. Okay, let's see what is going to happen. Do a refresh and you can see a yellow border just right here as well. All right, so right now let me increase the font size of this particular button. So maybe I will be writing font size, and the font size is going to be, let's say, 24 pixel. Command S. Let me see whether the font size is changing. Yes, we get a bigger button right now. This looks pretty good. And let me change the border back to black. So let me say solid black, and I think this is going to look more good. Yeah, so right now this button is right now looking good. Maybe we can give a padding to this particular button. So I can write padding here. I can write padding, or I can write padding top. Maybe I'll give a 20 pixel, and padding bottom, and I'll make it 20 pixel again, and let's see how it looks like right now. So we have a padding in the top and padding in the bottom as well. Okay, and if I want to give the padding for the top, bottom, left, right, instead of saying padding top, padding bottom, I can write padding here, padding, and I'll write maybe 10 pixel, and I'll give 10 pixel everywhere, 10 pixel, 10 pixel, and 10 pixel. All right, so let me try this. Let's see how it looks like. Now it's kind of good, right? All right, cool. So right now this button looks a little more bigger, and I'm not a CSS expert. I'm just trying different things here, and just want to make you understand about the CSS classes, because that's how we have created a different CSS class here called my button, and wherever we want we can link it. Let's say if I want to change this submit button to look like this, so what I can do, I can go back to the other page that I have, artstudent.jsp. Obviously it is loading my stylesheet.css, which is basically this. Right now this particular my button I can copy, I can go there, and where is the submit button, I can write here class, and I can do command V, command S, go back. Right now refresh the page, you can go to the next page, you can do a refresh, and that button is right now changed. Okay, obviously it doesn't look good, but we can do the styling as per our wish. Okay, so for now let me remove the class from here, so I will get back the previous button that I used to have, and I have this particular button because I have applied my style sheet. I have styled this particular art button that I have right here. Okay, so before I wrap up this particular session, I want to give you a task. I actually give a task to myself because I want to add a hover effect to this particular button. Let's see if I can do that. Let's say whenever I'm hovering over it, I want the text color and the background color to be changed, and I want to give a transition effect to this. So let's see if I can do that. Let me go back to my Eclipse. Where is that? I will go back to my Eclipse. And where is my web page? My web page is here. Let me drag it near to my Eclipse, just right here. So right now, let's say I want to give a transition effect. So I will go back to my CSS file, and maybe I can write transition duration, and let me say the duration is going to be 0.5 second. All right, so let me go back, let me do refresh, and well, you can see there is a transition effect right now. Whenever I'll do a refresh, the button is just obviously you can see the effect just right here, and I want to give a hover effect to this button. So can I do my button? So to this my button right now, to this one, command V, to this my button, I want to give a hover effect. So let me say hover, and right here I will define the hover property. Okay, so let me try to define the hover property. Let's see. While hovering over that particular button, I want to change the color. So I'll say background color of that particular button. Initially it is green, right? Maybe I will change it to yellow. okay, and the color of the text, I'll say color, and I want to change the text color to black while hovering. So let's see whether it is working or not right now. Let me do a refresh. Let me do hover, and obviously it's not working. And maybe, oh, okay, sorry. I don't have to say a dot hover. I have to say colon hover. Basically, whenever I'll be hovering over this particular button, I want to define it in this way. So my button is basically this button, and I want to provide the hover property. For that, I have to start it with a colon, right? So that's the syntax. Let me do command S, let me go there, let me do refresh, let me hover here, and you can see I'm able to give a hover effect to this particular button. And obviously whenever I click it, and I am navigating to here. So this looks good right now. I have given a hover effect to this button by using or by creating a CSS class right here called dot my button, and this is how the button property I have defined. And here the hover property, whenever basically I'm hovering that particular button, that property I have defined. I've just changed the background color, and I have changed the text color. So whenever I'll be hover, the background color will be yellow and the text color will be obviously black. Okay, that's what I have defined here. So this is how you'll be creating a CSS class, and this is how you will be applying that particular CSS class to any HTML property. Right here we have applied the property to a submit button, and right here for the body I have applied the property for the body property, obviously because I want to change the font size and the font family of my body. So that's why I have defined the class here, and that class is defined here. Okay, so hopefully it makes sense right now. You understand how we can create different classes right here on CSS. Okay, first time ever I'm teaching somebody CSS just like this. I'm sorry, I'm not a CSS expert. These are some very basic and fundamental thing. Anybody can do it. And go ahead, go to W3 School or go to some online resources. You'll be getting a lot of free stuff there. You can learn CSS from there, and you can do your experimentation. But here I wanted to introduce CSS class before I move to Bootstrap, because in Bootstrap you will be seeing a lot and lots of CSS class. Okay, you can go to W3 School or you can go to some different websites to learn CSS, and you can start doing your experimentation with this kind of stuff. Okay, so I'll see you next time. Till then, bye bye and take care.